Today's podcast is sponsored by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/doctrine. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast exploring Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I am the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois, and I am tired.
I'm Jimmy Fowler, elder candidate at Redeemer Fellowship.
And
I am better than Joe.
You are sort of down. You're a little down today. You're like a little blue.
A little blue?
Little.
It's not that I'm blue. I'm not depressed.
I feel like there's something up, and I thought I would ask about it. What's up?
Well, why would you first ask me while we have the mics up there?
Oh, save it for radio. That's what they all teach you in all my communication classes.
Oh, wait, what communication classes?
Yeah, man.
How many?
I went to
classes?
NYU, got a degree in
NYU?
broadcast. Yeah, New York University, and I got a degree in radio broadcast. So, anyways.
That's a lie.
That is probably a lie. That's
probably not I'm like
true.
Looking around. I'm like, where's this diploma? I don't see it anywhere.
So, and it would be a degree, not just you get a degree.
Well, whatever. I ain't got one, so it doesn't matter. I ain't got either.
I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but I like why? Like, what's going on? Why are you blah? We'll say you're blah.
Okay, blah. First of all, I feel like I'm blah. But it's not that anything's
We were
bad.
just praying about it.
We were just praying about it. Get out of the funk.
Yeah, the funk.
The funk. Okay. I said funk, not blah.
Okay.
And it's not like anything bad happened or anything negative or anything's going on at the church or in the personal life. I overslept. That happens to people. They oversleep.
Now, when Jimmy oversleeps, I know what that means. It literally means that you got about 8 hours of sleep.
Yes. I overslept.
You sluggard. Oh, the sluggard. Behold.
Oh, behold.
Behold the sluggard.
Behold the sluggard. So, yeah,
who gets 8 hours of sleep.
So yes, I mean, I woke up and Michelle was already out of bed and
of course, she doesn't need 8 hours of sleep.
8 hours of sleep. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I overslept and I didn't drink enough water. I feel like I didn't drink enough water this morning.
You need to chill with the water, dude.
No, the water's good for you.
You can get like hyponatremia and die. You drink that much water.
Okay. There's a point of, yes, I understand.
Yeah,
but
that's a real thing.
No, but there's nothing wrong.
People die all the time from drinking too much water.
Here's the thing between you and I.
Water poisoning.
From what I understand, you're supposed to drink about half your weight.
Myth.
Google it.
No, you Google it.
Half your weight.
Yeah.
In ounces, right? Like
myth.
Myth. Okay, why is it a myth?
Put that in and then put myth next to it. Boom, and see what pops up.
It's probably something you put up.
Well, if I did, it would be a good one.
Oh,
it would be
you
right.
didn't you?
No,
so you want me to
no,
go to
I
something
didn't.
from your blog?
I'm just saying, like, you need to ease up on the water.
No, why?
Because you drink coffee. There's water in coffee.
No, I
only
drink 1 to 2 cups of coffee.
Okay, go drink more and you get more water.
No, you don't.
And it tastes way better than water.
Hold on, wait. Drinking. What was the thing?
I don't know. It's your
water.
myth.
Oh, drinking half.
It's your pseudoscience.
Body.
It's your hollow earth science.
Myth. I'm looking.
It's your flat earth science. The same thing that tells you to drink all that water. It's that dental floss mythology. I mean, flossing.
Okay, first of all, look at this. Snopes.
Yeah, well, Snopes isn't like a thing.
Oh, why do we always go to that?
Go ahead. You go, Snopes. What does it say? What does it say on their website that looks like it was built in the 1990s, which it was, and hasn't been updated since?
It does say it was debunked by science.
Yeah, that's right. Guess who's drinking less water now?
No, I'm still drinking. I like it. I like the water. Hold on. Never freeze coffee to store it. Keep going. Sushi.
Wait, why are you looking at all the other stuff?
Because it's the 10 nutritional myths that won't leave. All right, and I'm not even seeing. It's not even showing the one.
All right, well It's
not there.
Okay, I'll give you time to ponder the folly of 8 hours of sleep a day.
First of all, it's not bad to be drinking water.
Hyponatremia.
Okay, if you get to that point, but
okay,
I have not gotten to that point.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's why you're feeling funky today. You've been drinking too much water.
No,
water, not enough.
I always feel cruddy when I don't drink enough water.
So we are.
So maybe that's it. I'm not drinking enough water.
You talk about drinking water as much as you drink water.
I know. Can I have a glass?
No.
I hate you.
So it's October, coming up on Halloween. You guys doing anything? You gonna go costume party, dress up, bob for apples, bonfire? You gonna what do you do?
No, we don't do any of that.
Oh, well, look at this guy.
We believe in Jesus.
You don't participate.
No,
in
we
the
believe in Jesus.
Works of darkness.
And yeah, we don't like this paganness that this is. And so usually we have a Jesus is Lord party.
Oh, I like that. That sounds biblical.
Where people come to the house, and we, instead of having a haunted house,
right,
we have a heavenly house.
Ooh.
Except if you do go down the path of Halloween, that corridor is damnation.
It's like a choose your own adventure in your house.
Exactly. So when kids walk in, they can choose.
Cool.
I'm going the heavenly way,
all right,
or I'm going to go the hellish way.
Okay.
And so if they want to participate in Halloween, they go down the hellish.
Okay.
But if they want to sing songs of hymns and praise and worship Jesus, we have the heavenly way.
All right, now what do they see if they go down the hell path? Mm-hmm. What kind of thing? Because like it's Halloween, you gotta make that.
Yeah,
good.
we just really have this big screen TV, and it's just on loop of Donald Trump speaking. It's Trump's greatest hits. You can't set me up like that.
All right, so I know you go trick or treating with your kids because I know you and another brother from the church took your families out and you walked behind the kids and
yeah, we walk behind the kids, and we're smoking cigars, and the kids are going door to door, and so we're saying hi to the neighbors, and the kids are getting some. So we just go a few blocks around and then come on back.
Now, do you go during the daytime or the nighttime?
We do late afternoon.
Is it light out or is it dark out?
It was dark last time. It started
I saw
light.
The pictures.
It started light.
I saw the pictures.
It started light.
You're one of those lame parents that takes your kids out when it's bright out. You got to go when it's dark.
No,
dark.
No, because then I want them to go home and go to bed.
Yeah,
and then I can relax.
It gets dark at like 6 o'clock or something. What
exactly.
Are you doing?
So that's why we go at 5.
Oh, it's too early.
We go at 5.
You don't step out the door until it's dark out.
No,
because that's when the realm between the natural and the supernatural is thin enough and close enough to really interact with all the evil.
And that's scientific?
Oh no, but it's.
It was on Snoops.
It's on something like that. Yeah, we do. We let our kids do the trick or treating as well, and I know that. I mean, we're having a little fun here, but like some people really object to this. They do not like the idea of Christians participating in what we call Halloween. Have you ever struggled with that? Have you ever?
No, I've never struggled ever.
You've always been cool with devil worship.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, no, hold on, wait, yeah. I should have first let you say the question before I answer.
Yeah,
I am fine with Halloween.
Blasphemy.
I am good with Halloween.
Blasphemy.
I am good with
Blasphemy.
Halloween. I'm good with Halloween. Yes. So yeah, I've never had an issue. I know of some other parents that have, and so at these churches they'd have an alternate event that night.
Harvest festival.
Whether it's, what do you call it?
It's a harvest festival.
Well, I guess that's what it was. It was a bonfire.
We're going to talk about bonfires tonight, I think.
Okay, well, it was like a bonfire, and I guess they'd have snacks. I never.
And they
went.
don't think the bonfire's pagan.
No, they
really.
just think we're all getting
that's
together.
interesting.
And,
bonfire, not pagan. Okay.
But I never went.
Well, do you know what their objection is? Like, what the common objections to people like Christians?
Satan worship,
right? Satan worship,
evil worship. It is
celebration of death.
Celebration of death. Which, yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking of in some South American cultures where they actually do celebrate, or even like in New Orleans, right? Mm-hmm. The Day of the Dead. I mean, and those are things I want to go to. I want to go to those.
Yeah, man, because you like all that dark stuff.
No, I just think you don't think it would be interesting, like just a cultural,
totally, totally. I would love to. Well, I think that people object to it largely because they have this idea, largely based in truth, that a lot of the things that accompany what we call Halloween today have a pagan origin.
Yeah,
right, and So they've heard that it's all relates to Satanism, and it's the Satan High Holy Day, which it isn't, and therefore we need to stay away from it. And then ghoulish things are bad, and you're playing with witchcraft and all of this stuff. So what I'd like to say on the front end of all of this, before we get into the details, is just a basic principle, which is the pagan origin of something does not necessarily determine its contemporary moral or spiritual value.
Yeah.
Right. So the pagan origin, something can have a pagan origin, right? Like Christmas.
Yeah, I'm about to say, we're all about Christmas, but
Easter. But those things have been sanctified. We have not yet sanctified Halloween and turned it into a Jesus thing. It's still very much a death thing, a Satan thing, a vampire thing, a Frankenstein's monster thing. See the difference?
No, I don't see the difference.
Well, the difference is when you talk about Christmas or Easter, it had a pagan origin, but now it's been made about Jesus.
You know what we need Kirk Cameron.
Why?
Well, I mean, he's sanctified movies by bringing out the Left Behind series.
Okay.
I think can sanctify Halloween.
He's
the only one. Please come, Kirk Cameron. You are our only hope.
Kirk actually made a movie about Christmas. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas. That's a movie. Google it right now.
Cameron.
First of all, it's Kirk with a K.
Is it really? I've been calling him Kurt.
Like Kurt Russell?
I guess.
No.
Yeah. Kirk Cameron Saves. This has got to be some sort of spoof. It's got to be.
No, it's a movie. He made it.
No, and it's Kirk.
That's what I said. You said Kurt with a T. I said it's Kirk with a K. Try and rewrite history, son. All right, so it's a real movie.
There it is.
I'm right.
Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas. Put Christ back in Christmas.
See, I told
in
you.
theaters, November 14th. Limited engagement, like Atonement.
So here's the
look on his face, though. He's got this like orb in his hand, and he's running, and there's a Christmas tree with all these things and presents, and he's got a big candy cane. He's like about to hit you with it. How is he saving you with hitting you with a candy cane?
He's beating the devil out of you.
But the look on his face that's gonna haunt me.
You guys can see it on the show notes.
That's gonna haunt me. Look at the thing.
It's like this. No, Joe, look like this.
Nobody can see the face you're making.
No, I'm saying you can. It's like this.
Okay.
It's just so disgusting.
Well, Halloween is objected to because, of either the content that people see in it or the origin of the past. But let's just say on the front end, the pagan origin of something cannot determine its current moral or spiritual value or significance. And by the way, Halloween, it kind of has been sanctified because Halloween is technically a Christian holiday.
Whoa.
Halloween is a Christian holiday. Anybody that knows church history and knows what Halloween is and means knows it's a Christian holiday.
All right, well, since I don't know church history, why don't you explain?
All right, well, about 2,000 years ago, Jesus of Nazareth lived a righteous life, died on the cross, and rose from the dead, and he is the one who established the New Testament church.
Okay.
And so if we're going to start with church history, we could start there.
Okay.
And then go forward. Or if you want, we can go all the way back to like just talking about God's people, God's elect of all ages.
Why don't you go all the way back?
Okay. Halloween is the contraction of All Hallows Eve. All Hallows Eve is the night before All Saints' Day. Halloween is technically a Christian holiday. Yes, you could say, well, isn't it more Catholic and all of that? And say, yes, it is, but if you want to be technical about it, it's actually a Christian holiday. Now, we got to go back farther, the origin of Halloween and all of that. And so where does all of this come from? October 31st was a big day in the life of pagan communities, specifically in among the Celts. Right? They had this one day, this one festival, this one night on October 31st where a lot of this went down. Do you know what it was called?
No, that's why I need you for church history.
It's called Samhain.
Samhain?
That's what it's called.
No, it's not called Samhain. You are wrong.
Yeah.
No, it is not. It's Samhain.
Yeah, it's spelled Samhain.
It is Samhain.
It's Samhain. I went to school with a guy named Sam Hain, I think. But it's pronounced Samhain. And Samhain was the end of the harvest, the beginning of winter. This was when the days were short and the nights were long, and they believed that this was the time when the sort of the barrier between the physical world and the spiritual world, or the realm of life and the realm of death, was very, very close together, and evil spirits could pop into our world and create havoc and ruin the crops right before they're harvested and things like that. So they and a lot of the traditions that are associated with Halloween today come from this period of time. Not all of them, but some of them. But before we get into that, you've got something to say.
I do. It's been something that's been on my heart.
Okay.
It's something that I feel like I really need to share with the world.
Okay. So no joking. I'm not going to joke this time. I'm
yeah,
just
for real,
listen.
please.
All right.
Okay. This is kind of hard. All right. For listeners of Doctrine and Devotion, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to check out their service. And for this month, we would like to start recommending The Whole Christ, Legalism, Antinomianism, and the Gospel Assurance, Why the Marrow Controversy Still Matters by Sinclair Ferguson. So here's the great thing about audible.com is you can go, you can sign up for free, you can get your free audiobook, and you can cancel at any time and still keep your free audiobook. And so to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/doctrine and grab Sinclair Ferguson. I love me the Fergie.
It's such a good book, and I know most of y'all haven't read it, so be sure and pick that up.
And listen to it.
All right, so back to these traditions that are present in Halloween and fall activities today. Some people have problems with these, like the costumes that people are wearing. People get dressed up in costumes around Halloween. Back in the day, you say you don't know church history, but maybe you've heard about this. Why were they on Samhain on October 31st? Why were these Celtic pagans dressing up in costumes on that night?
To ward off evil spirits.
Yeah.
Trying to scare them away, I guess, if I want to say it like that.
To blend in.
So,
They're like, hey, man, I'm cool. I'm an evil spirit just like you. We're all good.
And then get away.
Yeah.
And then get away. So really, if you are not dressing up, you're inviting evil into your life.
I think that, well, certainly the Celts believe that.
Well, I'm just saying now we believe that.
So dressing up in costumes was this primitive idea that they could scare away evil spirits. When people dress up in costumes today, why do they dress up in costumes today?
I think just for fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Costumes are fun.
Yeah, the kids get to enjoy it. They get to
be their favorite superhero.
Be their favorite superhero. I mean, you let your kids play pretend all the time, and now you won't let them play pretend and actually get a nice treat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, hopefully a nice treat. And if you're giving out apples, that's not a nice treat. If you're giving out toothbrushes, that's not a nice treat.
No, those are stupid.
That's just, don't do that.
You're exasperating children.
Don't hand out tracts.
No.
Don't hand out tracts. Just don't.
Listen, if you're going to hand out a tract, you better hand out a full-size Snicker bar with it.
Yes. And
Full size.
With these small things. What is it?
Full size.
I know, I agree.
Hand out a tract.
That's what I'm saying.
King size, if it's not a very good tract.
King size is not a good tract?
Yeah.
All right. All I'm saying is don't do the tract,
People like to dress up in costumes. I like to dress up in costumes. I don't ever get the chance to do it.
What you do on Halloween?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I saw you as Gimli.
Nope, that's just me.
No, you dressed up like Gimli.
No, you're trying to make people think that I do, but I've never.
You did.
What about jack-o'-lanterns? Do you know what a jack-o'-lantern is?
Yeah, is that the thing where you cut out the pumpkin and you put a face on it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, okay. Well, so do you know the origin?
No.
Of the jack-o'-lantern?
It's just to give light and sight.
Well, first of all, back in the day, like in Ireland, they didn't do this with pumpkins. They didn't have pumpkins, so they would use these smaller gourds and whatnot. But why do you think they might carve a scary face into a gourd and put a candle inside of it or a coal inside of it?
A coal inside?
Yeah.
Oh, because of light.
So make the light come through. Scary face, I think.
Yeah, to ward off evil spirits.
Same thing.
I want to say nothing different.
The costumes aren't enough, man. We gotta double down.
So if you don't have a jack-o'-lantern, you are inviting evil into your home.
You're basically painting an upside-down cross on your door and saying, "Welcome, devil." At least that's what they would have believed. So, and there's a cool story behind the jack-o'-lantern, which I'm afraid I don't really remember. I'd probably mess it up. But so that was the original sort of meaning behind that. And today, kids carve faces and pumpkins.
Just silly things,
silly
right?
faces.
And people actually make some really nice art. I would, they make some nice, intricate,
like a Thomas
designs.
Kincaid impression right onto the side of the pumpkin.
All right, how about bonfires?
Bonfire.
What about bonfires? Because now a lot of Christians, a lot of churches will have the bonfire.
Right.
And you seem to insinuate earlier that there was something negative about this.
Oh, well,
Or how about ironic? Let's go ironic.
Bonfires have a pagan origin, too. They were bonfires. And they would either be the burning of bones or bodies or even the sacrifice of a person to false gods. But the pagan origin of bonfires doesn't seem to bother people. Like, they might object to Halloween, but they're going to let's have a bonfire, and they even call it a bonfire. Or bobbing for apples, for crying out loud. Bobbing for apples has a pagan origin.
How so?
Roman goddess Pomona or something like that. I know we're supposed to research this stuff, but Roman goddess. They would the best that we can tell, historians can tell, bobbing for apples came around the worship and the celebration of this one goddess. I think it's Pomona. Google up goddess Pomona.
Goddess Pomona. God.
Because I don't if
Pomona.
because it sounds like Pomona sounds like a place in Florida. So I don't know what are we telling people to look up Pomona? But
I'm looking at Wikipedia. Was a goddess of fruitful abundance in ancient Roman religion and myth. Her name comes from the Latin word pomum, fruit, especially orchard fruit. She watches over and protects fruit trees and cares for their cultivation.
All right, so and it's Pomona. So I
Pomona,
remember.
yeah.
All right.
Pomona.
So, looks like bobbing for apples was originally associated with this Roman pagan deity. But again, like, people don't have a problem with bobbing for apples.
Yeah.
Because, well, to them, it's clean. It's like, oh, this is fine. There's nothing. But costumes, which can be scary, they don't have to be.
They don't have to be
jack-o'-lantern, which can have a mean face, which, by the way, my 6-year-old can draw a scarier face on a piece of paper than any pumpkin carver can put on a pumpkin. So I don't know why that's better, worse, or better. But then, like, going house to house. There's all these ideas about going house to house to trick people and to do these
trick or treat. You know,
the real origin of going house to house and asking for candy also has a Christian origin. This was what happened on All Souls Day in England, when kids and the poor, in particular, poor kids, would go during the parade and during this festival of All Souls Day. They would go house to house and ask for candy or food. And the people there would oftentimes bake them special cakes called soul cakes for that particular day. So that even has like a very positive.
So it was like almost like it was serving, right? Yeah. Like you were serving those that were less fortunate.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's an act of mercy.
Yeah, it's kindness. Now, when we're talking about Halloween today, what we basically see here is a very mainstream pop culture. What do you call it? A community-based event. And while it's broad and it's celebrated by a lot of people, we could have gone through the history of this and when it came over into America and became more popular and all of that. But it is really important for us to just understand sort of the principles here.
Yeah.
What's happening and what isn't happening. First of all, this is not the highest satanic unholy day or holy day. Yeah. It depends on which branch of Satanism you're talking about. But the Levian brand of Satanism, the most popular brand of Satanism, the most popular holiday, not the most popular, the biggest holiday, the most important holiday is a Satanist's own birthday. That's the highest holiday because each Satanist considers himself to be a god.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the day that you really celebrate. But we're not talking about Satanism. We're not talking about Celtic origins. We're really talking about what's happening today. Now, as parents, I think we need to be careful with everything that we do with our kids and the culture. We need to think everything through. But we need to not be afraid to engage this day of Halloween as Christians. Now, we might want to engage in it differently, but I think a bad move is to disengage entirely and to pull back.
Yeah, because I think you're being anti-biblical. We're called to engage the culture around us. Now, we're not saying take everything wholesale without looking at it critically and without looking at it through the lens of Scripture. But we are saying don't remove yourself when God has called you here.
Right. Right. And so, you can listen, if you're a Christian and you don't want your kids to go door to door, okay, maybe you could give out really good candy and be a great neighbor.
Yeah,
Just be a good
absolutely.
neighbor. It's like, hey, you know what? We don't go out. We don't go door to door and dress up and all that because our conscience is, leads us in a different direction. But we want to bless everybody in the neighborhood that's going door to door. I mean, everybody's out.
Yeah.
Everybody's hanging out in the neighborhood.
And if you're not going to hand stuff out and then your house gets egged or TP'd, that's not persecution.
No.
That's not persecution. You deserve that. That's righteous judgment.
And
for being
I don't
a
even
jerk.
feel bad for doing that.
No,
I'll just tell you right now.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, well, it's what we do on Halloween.
If someone gives us like an apple, I'm like, all right, kids, we're coming back later.
Yeah.
And then they go to bed,
you
and
gotta
I go
teach
by
them.
myself and egg the house.
Oh, you don't bring them with you?
Nah, they're sleeping.
You need to wake them up, man.
Not for that. I'll when they get older, we'll egg it together.
So the really what our perspective here is be biblical in all things and follow your conscience.
Yeah.
If your conscience is disturbed at the idea of letting your kids go door to door, then don't do it.
Then don't do it.
I'll be honest. The first 4 or 5 years of Catherine, our oldest daughter's life, we didn't do trick or treat door to door. Because of my past involvement in the occult and in Satanism, I just wanted to be extra careful.
Nothing wrong with that.
But so we would pass out candy, and she would dress up in one of her princess outfits because she's always had. Well, she doesn't anymore. She's 15.
I'm about to say she
But
passed that princess
She
stage.
used to have princess outfits, and so she would stand at the door and give it out, and then she would ask me, why can't I go over to my neighbor's house and ask for candy? And so Jen and I talked about it, and we prayed about it, and we just ultimately said, you know what? There isn't a good biblical reason for us to not do this. And we can think of good reasons for us to do this. So we went ahead and make it. We don't judge people who don't practice this, but and those that shouldn't judge Christians that do. So be biblical, follow your conscience, and be a good neighbor in all things. But what about, do you have any concerns at all when it comes to the darker images or the scarier ideas or the overtly satanic pictures and concepts that float around during Halloween? Do you have any caution or concern about some of the stuff that you might see?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I don't. Now for my kids, I do. Because I think there's a conversation that needs to be that you got to have with them, right? Like I'm still, I don't have vampires or skeletons or witches or ghosts. That's the kind of stuff like we're not decorating our house with, So I think, you're going to see it out there, and so trying to have that conversation, which is one of the reasons why I do have my kids go, because they're five and under. We go earlier, so that they don't have to see some of that other stuff.
Right. They start lighting up the lawns, and dead people come out of coffins and stuff like that.
And so as they get older, we'll have that conversation.
Yeah.
But at this point, they're not ready for it because, like I said, they do a lot. We let our kids pretend all the time. We let our kids pretend playing cowboys and Indians, but you're okay with them, shooting someone and calling them an Indian,
Native American,
whatever, First Nations. But when it comes to that, all of a sudden your conscience is there, and I guess I understand it to a degree.
Well, because I think most people are so unfamiliar with the world of the occult and with Satanism, and they are so far removed, many, at least in our context here, which is, I think, a rather privileged context where we live, where it's a relatively comfortable life, for a lot of us. And there's not a lot of suffering and grief on that level of death and mutilation and all of that. Yeah. So we don't have a lot of experience with those things, and we know Scripture talks about evil and Satan and witchcraft, and so we see it superficially kind of painted in a humorous way or in a superficial way, and we kind of react to it. So I do get that. But my caution to people is pretty simple. Be thoughtful about what you do, whether it's a movie that you're watching or a book that you're reading. Don't just consume.
Exactly.
Don't just engage, but do so carefully, thoughtfully, and biblically, and do so in such a way that you can honor the Lord. If you can't honor the Lord, then you don't have any business doing it. I think that's a pretty safe place to go. So my kids will go out.
Yeah, and I think also, be wise, and even I don't know how Joe's going to feel about this, but I'm going to say it. We check our kids' candy. If there's something that's opened or fruit, we just throw it out. Yeah, I'm not going to play that game. Plus, I want to check and I want to get the good stuff. I want the Reese's peanut butter cups for me. They don't need those. I'm protecting them and their teeth. But yeah, one person, and there are malicious people out there that for
So
some reason
there's
think
never
this
been
stuff
a
is funny.
documented case of it ever happening on any of your.
There's
Halloween
never been
ever.
a documented case.
Nope.
Never once has there been.
Nope.
Okay, so Joe goes by and that's fine. I'm not.
I still
against
check
that.
the kids' candy.
Okay, so then why
I'm just saying.
Then why do you check though? Why do you check?
Because not because it's gonna be like laced with a razor blade.
Yeah. I'm not even.
But no, like if
But
it's
why?
just like if it's open, it might not be good.
Like what does that mean? It might not be good. Like,
I don't know. There could be like a bug in there.
see, yeah, you now have to go back.
No, I'm just saying. Like,
Yes, you
it
do.
could be
You
dirty.
do. You do have to
Stale.
go. That's just funny to me
look
because
at the
you were getting ready to make fun of me.
I wasn't making
Yes,
fun of
you
you.
were.
I
You
was
were
just
getting ready to
saying
make fun
that
of me,
there is,
and then we
there's not been an
realized that
incident.
you're okay. That's fine that there hasn't been an incident, but I still want to know why you're checking. If you're not worried or concerned, why
not
are
worried
you
or concerned.
Then why are you checking?
Because I'm uptight.
You're uptight because
Yeah.
you're worried or concerned.
I'm not worried or concerned, I'm
because
uptight.
you and I both know it just takes that one time, and that's why we check, and that's why I'm saying be wise,
Be careful.
be careful,
Be smart.
be smart,
Safety first.
health and safety. So that's all I'm saying. I got it. Wow,
What was
I
that?
got you.
What
I'm
was
happy.
that?
That was my victory cry.
Okay.
I was kind of stoked I got you on that.
You didn't get me on anything.
Yes, I did.
No, you
Joe, you were even like, oh, I can't believe I just said that. I checked.
I don't know. Actually, I'm trying to think about. I don't know if I check my kids' candy.
Oh, now you're gonna double back.
Here's what
now
happens.
you're gonna
I got
double
4
back.
kids. They bring in the candy, and they sit on the living room floor and they dump it all out.
Yeah.
And they start trading, and we watch while they do it. That's
Yeah.
that's about as much of the check as it gets. There you go.
Yep, and I like how you doubled back on that because you felt silly.
I don't feel silly.
Yes, you do. It's fine.
No.
Joe checks his candy because there's
I'm
that
uptight.
1%.
No,
that
I don't think
1%.
anything. I don't think anything's in there.
I'm just saying. Oh, you do. That's why. Okay,
No,
I'm
man,
not
I
going to
like-
argue with this
listen,
anymore.
I will check-
I think we all agree that
all
Joe
agree.
thinking how Joe likes to present himself as this like easygoing. I ain't got time for all this other worrying stuff that other people worry about, and yet he does. Praise God. Hey, Joe, you know what I have over here?
No, I don't know.
I've got some mailbag.
Oh.
We're gonna move on. You want to check these as well for health and safety? Or we're just going on.
Yeah,
Here we go.
You have it up on
Here's
your
the first
side.
question.
You can-
I will
you can
give
just
this
read
one
them.
to you first. All right. The name is Anonymous. Subject: theologically diverse church staff. Hey guys, I was wondering what staff life is like with Redeemer Fellowship. Currently, I am a church plant intern with the North American Mission Board. In the last few years, I have embraced Reformed Baptist doctrine out of necessity more than wanting to be in a Calvinist club. I was hoping to gain insight about the nature of church staff / church ministry. The church to which I am assigned has a staff that is both theologically diverse and morality driven. By this, I mean we have one staff member who promotes drama worship and leans towards prosperity preaching, and another who is ordained in a Pentecostal church and holds to strange views on free will and a personal relationship with God. Then there is me, the token Calvinist in the entire church. What I'm curious about is how should I approach my increasingly burdensome convictions of doctrine / orthodoxy within this church ministry. Sure, being a NAM, and that's North American Mission Board intern, I'm on a limited contract, but currently it is manifesting in depression and ministerial loneliness. Likewise, how should theological diversity be addressed at Redeemer? P.S. While the venerated Jimmy Palomalu does have beautiful head hair, who's he referring to?
Just keep going. Everybody
who's
knows.
he referring?
He's
Everybody,
a football player.
Good job.
Yeah.
What team?
Oh, I don't know. Football was a good guess because they're too big to play anything else.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah.
No, but he's talking about Google Palomalu.
No, I know. He's got the guy with the fluffy hair that pops out the back of his thing. He did
the one.
shampoo commercials.
That he did shampoo commercials.
Yeah.
I heard you say she. It's
No,
he.
I know it's a he.
Okay, he.
Ain't no girls playing football
And
in
he
the NFL.
plays for the Steelers.
Okay.
Or was, yeah. I feel like if I were to take a swing at JoJo's jaw, his beard would break my hand. Okay.
There you go. All right. So, first of all, in your context, I would encourage you not to create drama or controversy as you are an intern there serving them in a short-term capacity. At least that's what it sounds like to me. Mm-hmm. But if it is a healthy environment, you should have the freedom to talk about theological distinctives and disagreements. That shouldn't be weird or bad.
Yeah.
That church has its own theological identity. And or maybe it doesn't have enough of one. That's why there's so much diversity.
That's why they got,
But
they don't know. They're all over the place. They don't know
maybe
what they're
maybe
about.
they don't want one.
And there's a danger there too, right? Especially as a church
Why are
plant.
you on your phone?
Just stop.
What are you doing?
Because I'm reading the question.
Oh. No, you're not. The question's on your computer.
All right. But there's a danger there as well, though. And I know that you've experienced that as in the first church plant. I know we've talked about that. One of the lessons learned has been when the leadership doesn't cast the vision.
A clear enough vision
About who we are and what we're about. All competing visions will begin to suffocate it.
Yeah, definitely. So in your immediate context, I would be careful. I would be deferential. But I would be clear about who you are and what your perspective is, what your convictions are. Don't go against your convictions.
Yeah.
But yeah, as an intern there, I think you're going to have to roll with them easier than you would in a church where you're coming on staff and you're really a part of that congregation. In terms of a healthy church and diversity among staff, staff is a pretty broad term. It would apply to anyone paid. So that's the janitor, to the secretary, to the receptionist, to the ministry assistants, and so on and so forth. But let's just limit this to teaching staff, okay? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to a healthy church, I think a healthy church has to have a clear theological identity. It has to have a confessional identity. That means that the doctrine of God and the gospel is clearly articulated and agreed upon by the church, that there's no ambiguity, but that there is a healthy level of specificity. I don't think you can get too specific and too big, but you definitely can get too general and be unclear. So that's number one. And then number two, all teaching staff should be in full agreement with the confessional standard or the statement of faith of a local church. We do not want our teachers, community group leaders, and those are volunteers at Redeemer, teaching anything contrary to what is in our statement of faith. Yeah. And all of our elders obviously have to agree with our statement of faith.
Obviously.
And so we really think it's important that, now there can be diversity outside of that statement of faith, or if there might be room for exceptions within that statement of faith, like, well, I agree with all of it, but this part I don't, and that can be worked out. But in general, I would want all of the staff to be in agreement doctrinally. Yeah.
Next question.
All right, what's the next question? You have to read it because I don't have them.
Oh yeah, here, it's on my phone.
No, it's not. You're checking you're checking Slack, aren't you? You were checking Slack.
I was.
Okay.
All right.
Slack is an app that we use to communicate among the elders here. Go ahead.
All right. David Koch writes.
I know. We know David.
Yeah, we know David. All right. Sanctification. Hello, Fofo and JoJo. I have a question for either the mailbag or maybe for an episode, depending on how many are asking this question or ones like it. I would like to hear you to expound upon the doctrine of sanctification, particularly the question of just how much the Christian participates in his own sanctification. I see in Scripture that both salvation and sanctification are a work of God, how God brings to completion to work he begins in the Christian. But I also see in Scripture commands for the believer to, quote, do something, Paul's command in Colossians 3, to put on and put off come to mind. I have known believers and pastors who would say that they do not participate with the Spirit in their own sanctification and growth in becoming more like Christ. I believe in an effort to avoid any hints. Becoming more like Christ, I believe in an effort to avoid any hint of works righteousness. Can you help untangle this issue for me? Thanks for the podcast, fellas. I look forward to Mondays and Thursdays greatly in Christ. David Koch.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I do think that there's a part that we play, right? I don't think that what we do is that which saves us or sanctifies us, but I think it's the faith that we have in Christ that makes it acceptable and holy and pleasing to God. Would you say that, Joe? Like, I mean,
yeah.
it's.
So, I mean, in what way do we participate in our justification? He's talking about sanctification.
Yeah.
So, do we play like an active part? Do we contribute to our justification? Let me put it that way. Do we contribute to our justification in any way?
I would say no.
Right. Justification is this unilateral declaration.
Yeah.
God declares us to be righteous in Jesus Christ upon our faith in Jesus, which is a receiving of Him. It is not. It is not a work that we do, but in sanctification, I think you're right. We are active. We are participants, and the Bible doesn't lay out a very neat and clean formula by which we can articulate the whole. We have to look at everything that's said and try to make sense of it. We do know that God is the author of sanctification, right? Jesus prays to the Father that He would sanctify the people that He had given to Jesus, right? So Jesus prays for that in John 17. So we know that it's God who does it. He's praying to the Father. Now, how does the Father do it? Well, it looks like He sends the Spirit to work in the lives of His people through the ministry of the Word. So we look at 2 Thessalonians 2:13. But at the same time, what Brother Cook, is it Coke? I think it's Coke.
I think I said Coke.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's spelled like Koche or something. It's really weird.
Koch.
Yeah. But then we're told to sanctify Christ in our hearts, to put off the old man. We're told to, like in 1 Thessalonians, I think it's 4:4. This is the will of God, that you abstain from sexual. This is the will of God, your sanctification. That is that you abstain from sexual immorality.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty clear that we are to work out our salvation with fear and trembling.
That's
and
right.
Yet it's God who is at work in us to will and to move for His pleasure. I think it's pretty obvious that we are active and play a part in our sanctification, though we are not the cause of it, and we get no credit for it. But we are not passive. That would
That's
be
right.
my answer.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wouldn't. I would. And I think the Reformed tradition, when you read systematic theology and when you read the Puritans, it's very clear that we have an active part in our spiritual growth. God is the one that grows us, but we remain active.
Last question.
What was another one?
Last one. Ready? It's from Alex, and I'm going to butcher this last name. Yepes.
Let's go with Alex.
Alex. Subject, pop culture. Guys, I have loved each and every podcast. They have truly been a blessing. As I mentioned to Joe on Instagram, I am blessed to have great pastors from my local church and to have you guys as a supplement through podcasts. Thanks, man. I was wondering if you guys are planning on having a conversation on popular culture, specifically on music, television, and on the internet. Like Joe, I have some metal music, although I prefer bluesy, hard rock, like Rival Sons. I have some people approach me asking how I, as a Christian, can listen to, quote, secular music. Usually, I can get my point across by asking them what they watch on television, pointing out that they watch, quote, secular entertainment. But I would like to hear both of your takes on how you answer people if and whenever asked the same question. And Joe, my offer still stands. If you are in Cali anytime, hit me up and we can hang out in my park backyard to smoke one for the glory of God. Soli Deo Gloria. Alex Yepes.
Cool.
Go ahead, Joe.
You want me to answer it? So wait, what was the question? Oh yeah, pop culture.
Pop
Music,
culture,
secular.
music,
Yeah.
secular. I mean, we've kind of dealt with this
Yeah.
on the All the Bad Things episode.
Yeah, so check that out.
Check that out. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of these Christian liberty issues. Would you say?
Definitely. And let's just back up. Like when somebody says, "How can you listen to secular music?" If we're talking about music in and of itself, we're just talking about the arrangement of notes. We're talking about music. Music is the creation of God. It is His before it is man's, and man uses it for either good or evil. So music in and of itself, I think, is a good thing. It can be corrupted. I don't think you can corrupt musical notes so that the arrangement of them is no longer good.
Yeah.
I think what you do with them in terms of what you use it for, or the lyrics that you attach to it, can have an impact on whether or not it is fitting for a Christian to, or for anyone to enjoy. So I would say let's get away from whether or not it's specifically Christian or religious in lyrical content. Let's just talk about music in general. Is one form of music better than another form of music, leaving lyrics out? Some people would say yes. And among those who would say yes, some would say, well, some are better than others because that music reflects more of of an enlightened understanding of God's creation, and that's all they would say. And others would say, well, yes, some are actually bad based on rhythm or the way things are done, and they would say that some are good. Without getting into all of that, let's just say music is the creation of God. I think we need to understand music and appreciate it in all of its diversity. And when it comes to lyrical content, every Christian needs to be convinced in his own mind that what he is listening to is not going to lead him to think, feel, act, or speak in a way that is unbecoming of a Christian, that would dishonor the Lord. I think that every Christian needs to evaluate all of the art and entertainment that he or she takes in, to say, like, can I appreciate this, and does this help me to do the things God wants me to do? Does it help me to enjoy His creation and ultimately give honor and praise to Him? So I don't think that it's a good argument to say that all of our intake of art and entertainment needs to be Christian, but
or quote unquote Christian.
Yeah, or quote unquote, quote unquote. I'm using quote unquote now for no reason. You did it first, and you got me doing it. I don't think it needs to fit within a particular box of agreed upon philosophies for us to say, okay, this is okay because this is coming from a perspective that I like. Sometimes you're going to read a story or listen to a song that comes from a perspective that you don't like, and yet you can appreciate the music and you can better understand the artist and go like, wow, I disagree with what this guy is saying or what this girl is saying, and I hurt for them. And yet they've created something that's still like really interesting or beautiful and compelling, and that's not bad for you to engage in that. So don't be a mindless consumer. We say this all the time. If you don't, I mean, you should think through the things that you take in.
Absolutely.
But,
check your candy.
Check your candy. Have Papa Fofo check your candy for you if you can't do it yourself.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I remembered.
Yeah, good job. Joe.
Yeah.
If there was a podcast out there that you'd want to recommend, what would that be?
All right. Well, there is a new podcast. It's a new one, and it's from a ministry that I think began on Facebook.
Okay.
A friend of ours started this thing.
Nikita?
Yeah, Nikita started this thing called Ladies Love Theology. Now, dudes, it is for ladies only. Do not go and sign up for the Facebook page.
But wait, didn't you?
I did. I am
And
a
you got
member.
in?
I think
I
I
you're the only male.
I don't know, but I heard through the grapevine that that was an accident, that I was not. So, guys, leave them alone.
So wait, did you leave the group?
No, of course not. I'm in.
Why would you
did you
honor?
ever watch the show Bosom Buddies?
No.
Bosom Buddies?
No, I've never seen it.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks
His
is who?
first big role. Tom Hanks, he's in it.
With who?
It's a TV show where him and his buddy, they can't afford housing anywhere or something like that, and so they go to this. I think it's a school or maybe it's just a place to live. They have to dress up like women the whole time.
No, I've never seen this. Was this in the 50s?
Yeah. Okay.
No,
So
how long ago was
ladies
this?
love
Joe, wait, no, I want to know.
It was like in the 70s or 80s.
It was not.
Yeah.
No.
Google it while I'm talking about Ladies Love Theology. Ladies Love Theology has a podcast now, and it's just started, and it's really going well. In fact, as soon as I heard that they were going to launch it, I thought we need to promote this. And what was that? 79?
No, 80 to 82.
Okay. Yep. See, I knew.
And started reruns in 84.
There you go. So they've got a great podcast going. They interview different people. They just interviewed my wife actually last night, and we were gonna promote them anyways. I don't want you to think I'm promoting just because Jen was on it.
Wow.
No, that's not
Wow. Pay to play. I see.
No, I was.
You must have been learning from the Clinton camp on how to,
how to what?
How to promote, how to handle things, how to
Okay.
get favors in return,
How to get things done?
how to get things done.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, she-
Anyways, continue on.
check out Ladies Love Theology, but I also want to recommend a book.
Oh, go ahead.
My friend Doug Logan just released a book called On the Block. You really need to check this out, particularly if you are, doing church ministry in an urban context. Pastor Doug pastors in Camden, New Jersey, and if you know anything about Camden, you know that it's one of the most dangerous cities, if not the most dangerous city in North America. And the book is called On the Block, developing a biblical picture for missional engagement. So if you're in an urban context, it's great. If you're not in an urban context, you need to pick it up as well. Just because, first of all, you're going to be able to learn from Doug on what it means to live missionally as a Christian and as the church, but also because you may be sending people, you should be sending people into the cities to preach the gospel and to plant churches. So pick up On the Block by Doug Logan. We'll make sure and link to that in the show notes.
Huge thanks to Justin Bond of J Bond Media, the audio and visual wizard of Doctrine and Devotion. If you got any audio or video needs, make sure you hit him up at jbondmedia.com.
That's right. If you want to help us out, leave us a review at iTunes.
Thank you.
Or anywhere, but we really like the iTunes. It helps us, and that's the dominant
We really
platform.
like the iTunes?
We like the... what's wrong with that?
All right, keep going.
It's
like we're on the internets.
Yeah, we are.
Continue.
And then you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Doc and Devo. You can find us on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can leave a comment for us with ideas, criticisms, or concerns if you go to our website. Click on the contact page, and you can leave us information there. And you can tell a friend. Now, listen, like a bunch of these jokers, they already signed off. Some of you are still listening. We get to this last point where we start thanking J Bond, and they turn it off, and they go on to their next podcast, or they do whatever they're going to do. But those of you who are still listening, check it out. We are going to be giving away a Hank's handmade leather pencil roll.
Bam.
Like the pencil roll that Jimmy and I carry. Well, we each have our own. We don't carry one pencil roll together.
Yeah,
I've got mine. He's got his.
I got mine.
Now, this is the best pencil roll around. It is beautiful, and we're going to be giving one away. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be dropping information on the blog very soon. So find out how you can sign up to win. There's a big blank space there. You don't want to say something else?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Say, tell a friend.
Tell a friend. You could say that.
All right. Well, sharing is caring.
Sharing
tell a friend.
That's what you always say.
All right. Well, we'll be back every Monday and Thursday for a fresh
that.
pod, and make sure you go ahead and pre-order and, or actually at this point, order.
By the time this thing is out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. In fact, by the time this thing is out, that pencil roll may already be gone. Sorry, everybody. You know what, Jimmy? I think we need some water.
We need some water.
Let's go get some.
Tired. Later.